Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to Nest of Guidance. Welcome back to Nest of Guidance. I am Robin, and this is going to be your intuitive oracle and tarot reading for your path ahead through this eclipse season that we're in that began on September 7th with the Pisces full blood moon lunar eclipse. We also have another eclipse on September 21st in Virgo, new moon solar eclipse, I believe it is. So we are ebbing and flowing through this massive season of eclipse energy right now, and you might even be finding that your own energy is ebbing and flowing through this eclipse energy and the changes and rewirings I'm hearing that it's bringing through for everyone. And if you haven't checked out my Pisces full blood moon lunar eclipse tarot reading that I posted on my channel, then I will have that linked in the end card for you to check out after this video, as we are still very much in that season up until the new moon eclipse that is on the 21st. So I'm going to begin this intuitive oracle reading and tarot reading by pulling a oracle card from the Whispers of Lord Ganesha oracle deck that I have. This is the deck right here. Lord Ganesha has been one of my spirit guides since I was a child, unbeknownst to myself until only a few years ago, actually. And Lord Ganesha is all about dissolving old realities, and what a better time of our lives to dissolve old realities than in the ebb and flow of the eclipse energy that we are all experiencing. So I'm going to pull one of these cards, and then I'm also going to read from the book for this card, because I find Lord Ganesha's words really come through in the written guidebook for these cards, as well as trying to tune into it intuitively for you myself. So let's see how Lord Ganesha is guiding us to dissolve old realities and take this path ahead through this eclipse season. And I'm just going to take the card. Ooh, that is on top. Ooh, and then we have the oracle card of priorities coming through for us from Lord Ganesha, honoring our priorities, rearranging our priorities, I'm hearing. And what are the priorities that bring us this deep inner peace with this lotus and that honor our heart, that are the highest good for us and also those in our lives at this moment? We have oracle card number 30 on the bottom of this oracle card of priorities for Lord Ganesha, which is telling us that it is time to recreate our priorities. 3 is a number of creation, community, collaboration, and connection, I'm hearing. So connect and create your priorities that most resonate for you this eclipse season, and let that be your guiding energy forward through this path ahead. Now I'm just going to go into the booklet quickly, like I said, to read what Lord Ganesha has to say about this card as well. And it says here, make the most of your time. Every day is a gift. You have the option to make the most of what life is offering you. If you long to create organization in your life, you will benefit from prioritizing. Your ideals determine what you will be. Your ideals determine what you will seek in life. Your priorities are most visible in how you use your time. Ganesha is holding the water lily, sorry, not lotus, but water lily, and emphasizing the importance of your values. He encourages you to know what you truly want. What makes you happiest? There are always blessings that may not be apparent in the midst of a disappointment, which is very eclipse energy with all the change that eclipse can bring. Time is not something that can be saved for later. When it comes to the time allotted to you each day, you only have a limited opportunity. Make your choice about how you spend your time in accordance with your highest values. If you languish or procrastinate, the moment will be gone. Reevaluate how you have been spending your days and how you can strive to become more satisfied. in terms of priorities for each major decision, such as education, occupation, a place of residence, marriage, or parenting, you may ask yourself, this is an important one, what will be the impact of my decision? Lord Ganesha wants you to prioritize with the question in mind of what will be the impact of that decision, of your decision that you're choosing to spend your very valuable and precious time with. In all choices, make sure that you are certain of what your priorities are. Relate your goals to ways to bring love and blessings to yourself and all the people who you share your life with. And that is the message of this Priorities Oracle card from Lord Ganesha. What is the impact of the decisions you're making during this eclipse season that affect not only you, but those in your life? Whether that's from career to health to love life to where you want to live, where you are currently. Always consider the priorities that are most present for you and the priorities that will be reflected into the future, I am hearing. Now that we have that very wise and discerning message from Lord Ganesha, I am going to go into the self-care deck, which we all know and love here on my channel, to see how we can care for ourselves as we are prioritizing what is in the highest good for us, body, mind, heart, and spirit, and those in our lives, body, mind, heart, and spirit as well. Best self-care for prioritizing and the decisions and impacts they have as we walk this path ahead through eclipse season. And again, I'm just going to go with this one right on top. Ooh, this is so connected to the energy of priorities. And prioritizing, we have the energy of security. And this security self-care card is about depositing your energy, your time, your intention, your actions, your words into different accounts in your life that are of priority for you. We have here the account of the deposit, the bank deposit of self-care, of time, space, energy, personal power, and love. So prioritizing these energies in our life, I'm actually going to do this so that Lord Ganesha is looking and filling these energies of time, space, personal power, energy, and love. This is our opportunity during this eclipse season and walking forward through it to prioritize all of these energies and fill these cups. And this is also making Spirit drop in a little token for personal analogy here. One message and action intention that I've been really putting forward, not just in this eclipse energy, but recently with the beginning of September even, is to fill your own cup first. Fill your own bank account, your own energy account of time, space, energy, personal power, and love first. Because when you fill those accounts, those cups in your own life first, what will feed and bless those in your life is the overflow, as opposed to depleting those cups, those accounts of your own energy, time, space, personal power, and love, and then draining you because you weren't full to begin with. So again, what is the impact of these decisions when we choose to fill our own cups of time, space, personal power, and love first, and let the overflow pour out, ebb and flow out into the world and those around us, versus trying to give from these accounts without the surplus or safety net to fill ourselves with afterwards. The message on the back of this self-care card of security says, true security comes from having a reserve of time, space, energy, personal power, and love. Make deposits in all of these accounts and you will be a wealthy person indeed. And wealth, again, is not just money. It is a wealth of time, a wealth of love, a wealth of energy, a wealth of personal power, a wealth of intention, a wealth of health, a wealth of well-being. So wealth is all-encompassing, and when we fill our own accounts first and have that reserve and choose to prioritize those energies, then we give from the overflow as opposed to giving from an empty cup and being drained from that action and that decision, the impact of it, as opposed to filling those personal accounts first so that we know we have that reserve, that safety net, and we're giving from the surplus instead. Okay, so now I'm actually going to go into the tarot deck to see what the path ahead is. This is just going to be a quick 3-card reading unless one extra card in this deck decides to come out, which we'll see if he does or not. He is a little magical toad. This is the Prisma Visions tarot deck. It is amazing and I love it. And I'm just going to pull 3 cards to see where we're standing collectively, if you're watching this reading, where we're standing collectively within this eclipse energy right now, what our next step or hurdle to overcome might be through this eclipse energy, and then what lies on the one card just was like meow onto the floor, so maybe I'll pull that as a bonus message I'm hearing. But the 3rd card will be 1111, so make a wish on this eclipse season for what priorities you're choosing for yourself to change your life, I'm hearing. And I'll be right back after I grab that little card that went for a little spin. Ooh, okay, so the bonus card we will get to, but I'm going to pull these 3 cards for where we're in this energy of the eclipse at this moment, eclipse season, where we stand, the next step or hurdle for us to face collectively, and then what is on the horizon. I'm hearing closer to the ending of this eclipse season, and it might not all be for us this 6 months time. Again, as you fill these reserves, this security deposits into these banks of time, space, energy, personal power, and love for yourself, you will get an energy and a sense of how the eclipse energy is moving for you. It might be moving faster for you, especially if you're someone who's been doing the inner work to heal what has been holding you back, the old karmic cycles, subconscious patterns, and programs that are looping or have been looping. We also had the 999 portal yesterday as I'm filming this on September 10th, which is all about these endings, making space for new beginnings to come through. So, depending on where you are in your own personal journey, it might not be 2 months. We actually have, I'm going to just put these all back here, and I'm going to choose 3 cards on top, plus the bonus card that fell forward, which I will get into afterwards. Ooh, interesting. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is quite in a line with that Lord Ganesha card, and also the self-care of security and filling those bank deposits. So the overall arching energy I'm hearing for this path ahead is the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is being grounded, being practical, filling these reserves of time, space, personal energy, and love in a secure and grounded way. Being your own time manager, being your own personal planner, I'm hearing. Whether you use a physical personal planner or not, this is knowing that you are the one in control of that physical resource of time, space, personal power, energy, and love. And the Queen of Pentacles is someone who knows that she has that in hand, and she is tapped into the sensual physical energy of utilizing all of those reserves that she has put in, that you have put in. This isn't necessarily speaking of women in general, but the Queen of Pentacles is a more feminine, sensual energy, but it is also very grounded. This could also mean that we have more physical embodied or physical feminine identities of the earth signs coming through for us to help us be more grounded in this sensual energy, which is, again, just like I'm hearing, exploring this eclipse season through your physical senses, right? So with your eyes, with your ears, with your nose, with your mouth, with your touch, right? It's not about like sensual acts with another or with yourself per se, but it is enjoying and experiencing this eclipse through your senses and knowing that you have these personal accounts in hand, like she has her pentacle in hand, and that you can make the correct decisions for yourself and know the impact that they will have through this eclipse season. So with that, where we're standing right now in this eclipse energy collectively is the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is very fast moving action, fast change happening. We can notice things happening for us that turn on a dime, that pivot really quickly, that happen in a matter of days with this Knight of Swords card. But we have to be diligent. Again, right? Lord Ganesha says, ask yourself, what is the impact of my decision? Because this Knight of Swords, even though it is a very fast-moving action, decisions, thinking, communication, perception shifts, if we're not mindful of where we stand within this eclipse energy, we could fall backward. I'm hearing the healing is this ongoing process. So we're never truly done healing what we have fought in the past. This terrifying creature here that you see peeking his head down on the top of this card is a fell swan. Fell swans in this deck symbolize the fallen, corrupted energy of purity, peace, bliss, and beauty. What has been holding you back, those subconscious programs and patterns, those karmic loops. So we must remain diligent in our thoughts and our actions, in the decisions that we're making, and in the accounts that we're filling during this eclipse season, but also be mindful of our surroundings and the people in our lives at the same time, because this knight, if he's not careful, he could very easily slip off the edge of this cliff, and then he'll have to climb up again to return to the battle. So again, what is the impact of your decision, Lord Ganesha asks, as you're fighting these battles, as you're going through the change that eclipse season can bring in for you? Because we must remain mindful and diligent and discerning as we are going through these changes so we don't slip up or slip off. But if we are sure in our grounding, if we are practical within our resources and filling these security banks as we are facing these changes with this fell swan, then we will come through into even more grounding, into more security, into more abundance, into more health, into more wealth, into what is truly waiting for us, I just heard. So know that that is coming through for you, and this is where we stand right now, is that eclipses, when they happen, it's like everything you thought you had dealt with is suddenly at the surface again. But it's not because you've fallen off the cliff, it's because you're being asked again, what is the impact of these decisions as you face what you have already fought before, what you've already healed more of, if that makes any sense. I have a feeling it does. Next, we have what our next step is within this energy of the eclipse, which is so amazing, and it just gets even more exciting and better. So again, as you tune into your own energy, your own personal experiences, through this eclipse energy, you will know, I'm hearing from Source, from God, Goddess, Universe, Divine, you will know where you stand in this eclipse energy and how you can pivot, shift, turn things around quickly with discernment and clarity so that you are standing somewhere that is more grounded, more safe, and not on the edge. But the next step is to own it, I'm hearing. The Emperor is a major arcana card of personal power, personal authority, grounding, resilience, and preparedness. Again, you can prepare by asking yourself, what is the impact of these decisions that I am choosing to make, that I am ready to make with this eclipse season? You can prepare and come into a better sense of personal authority, personal power, and control and readiness by filling these security deposits of time, space, energy, personal power and love. And again, this energy of personal power is all about the Emperor. This is also connecting into Aries energy, and Aries astrology is divinely connected, I'm hearing, for the Emperor as our next step. So this isn't just like this rigid, grumpy personal power and gruffness I'm hearing, but it's like enjoying the process, right? The overarching energy of this path is the Queen of Pentacles. So enjoying in a grounded, practical, safe way as we're filling these deposits, that we are stepping into an energy of personal power, security, abundance, love, personal authority, and preparedness. And it's through those energies, and I'm hearing through the filling of these accounts and the questioning of the impact of our decisions and choices, that new life, new well springs, I'm hearing, come back to what feels barren, dried up, or no longer useful through this eclipse season. The traditional Emperor card is an old emperor wearing a red robe, sitting on a stone throne with armor underneath, because he is prepared. He's not going to just race rashly and gruffly into battle. He is wise and discerning, and he sits behind a barren wasteland of mountains, but there is a tiny trickle of water that comes through this barren wasteland that he resides over, and it's his personal power, his energy of filling these bank accounts and asking himself, what is the impact of these decisions that brings that life force, that energy of that water back into the barren lands. So know that as you step into your own personal authority and power, as you choose to be ready and prepared, and ask yourself what is the impact of the decisions and choices that you're making through this eclipse season, and if they are in the highest good of yourself and others in your life, and where you want to be in the future through this eclipse season, that you are bringing new life, new energy, new resources, emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually back to what has felt dried up or barren in your life. And that is for sure the next step to take after the energy of standing on guard and facing the changes that come up with discernment and clarity and understanding of where you stand. When you know where you stand, which is where we are, you will know where to act and how to act, and what account needs to be filled in the highest good for you and others in your life of body, mind, heart, and spirit. And now, for what is on the horizon of all of this shifting, changing energy, of this eclipse energy, of this season of change, with filling our accounts of time, space, energy, personal power, and love, with continually asking ourselves as we go through these energies, what is the impact of the decisions that we're making, is what's on the horizon is the Wheel of Fortune. Because when we're in that mindset, in that state of mind and being of asking the hard question, and it could be a hard question of what is the impact of this decision, because sometimes what we want isn't what is in the highest good for you, for me, for anyone, for your life, for where you're going. And the Wheel of Fortune is constantly moving. So if you have been fighting the battles, and if you have been coming through energy into your own personal power, this is your path ahead through this eclipse energy. And it ends with the Wheel of Fortune, which is all about change and opportunity and doors opening and doors closing. And this specific Wheel of Fortune, you can see how there's a snake fighting a peacock, and then there's another peacock kind of just like poking his head down. It's kind of interesting how we go from this creature at the very beginning. Whoop, come back. It's funny how, as I was talking about the fell swan, it was like, okay, bye. We don't need you anymore. We fought you. We've fought you. We've stood our ground. We've come through into personal power and personal security. Or about to, very quickly, I'm hearing. Again, Knight of Swords is also one of the fastest cards in all of the 78 tarot cards. Literally things changing in a matter of days. So what's on the horizon for us is this energy of shifting from the fell swan of corrupted, fallen, purity, bliss, harmony, and love into the energy of peacock. And you can see that there's snakes intertwining and fighting each other in this energy. And what I'm hearing for peacock is this energy of being proud. But not like egoic pride like the fell swan, but heart-based pride, because you've reclaimed your personal power and authority with the Emperor as your next step through this eclipse season. And one message that really stands out to me from the booklet of this specific Wheel of Fortune, which also ties in to the energy of the Wheel of Fortune and the Emperor and standing your guard with discernment, is that fortune favors the brave. And we start here by facing what feels intimidating, the changes, the karmic cycles, the battles that we've thought we've won already, potentially again, while also being mindful of our footing, mindful of where we stand, mindful of our reserves of time, space, energy, and love, mindful of if this decision of how we're facing these battles is in the highest good and what impact they have. And then we come through into a better understanding of self and the authority we have in our lives. And then through that energy of authority and personal power and structure, we decide that fortune favors the brave and the bold. I'm hearing this energy, that could be for some of us of do what you've already done, get what you've already got. So it's time to change things up with the Wheel of Fortune here and do something different for yourself with this energy of the eclipse. Do something different. Come into a different power of authority for yourself and your life and those around you that are in your immediate vicinity, I'm hearing. And that is the path ahead for us. I'm going to pull us one more oracle card to see what archetype, what energetic archetype is coming forward through this path that we're on. And it will either be what's dissolving with the guidance of Lord Ganesha and asking ourselves what is the impact of the decisions that we're having or choosing, or it will be what's coming through with this energy of readiness, discernment, personal power, and knowing that fortune favors the bold. Oh, look at this. We have a very interesting energy breaking free from us with this eclipse season. And that is the energy of the victim. We're no longer feeling sorry for ourselves. Right? We're no longer feeling sorry for ourselves. The Emperor is not the victim of his circumstances. We are choosing to ask ourselves, what is the impact of our decision, as opposed to feeling victimized by what we're experiencing. So the archetype of the victim is being dissolved. Lord Ganesha is dissolving the archetype of the victim, self-victimization or victimizing of others, of our circumstances, is being dissolved for us by Lord Ganesha, by reprioritizing what's important by us, by choosing security over victimization, by filling those banks of time, space, personal power, and love, so that the energy of the victim is freed. Freed from victimizing ourselves, freed from being a victim of circumstances, freed from intentionally or unintentionally victimizing others, so that everyone can step into personal power and make bold choices for themselves with the discerning question of what is the impact of these decisions. On this victim card, there is light attribute and shadow attribute. And the light attribute says prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Yes, that is exactly what I just said before I even read the card. That is no longer. That is goodbye. That is literally being dissolved by Lord Ganesha during this eclipse season. If you're asking yourself what is the impact of these decisions and choices, if you're filling your own bank accounts with a surplus, a reserve during this time, then you are not victimizing yourself or others any longer. And the shadow attribute of this card says playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity and ability to maintain personal boundaries. So yes. Move forward, fighting these energies of victimization or victimizing other or feeling victims to your circumstance, while knowing the boundaries that you are up against or that you need to put up against others to protect yourself and your reserves. And know that as you claim what is yours, you come into the energy of personal power, and you have the personal ability and power to take bold actions in your life so that you are no longer the victim, so that you can choose to make priorities in your life that are best for you, your body, mind, heart, and spirit, best for those in your life, best for where you want to be. And know that through this path ahead, you have the ability to always ask yourself, what is the impact of this decision that I am about to make? How will it impact those around me? Is this feeding into the victim mentality? Is this freeing myself and putting me in the seat of the emperor of personal power, authority, balance, structure, and action in a grounded, abundant way where I am choosing to fill my own cup first, choosing to fill my account so that there is a reserve of time, space, energy, personal power, and love, is the actions I am taking and choosing through this eclipse season, filling these accounts, allowing there to be a reserve, or is it draining a cup that needs to be filled before it can have overflow and surplus to give to others? That is the reading for this eclipse season and the path ahead through it. I am so happy to hear that we are clearing ourselves of the victim mentality, feeling victim to our life, to our circumstances, to others, that we are claiming our boundaries, claiming our personal power, filling our accounts of time, space, personal power, and love, and also that we are choosing to ask what is the impact of all of our decisions and how will it impact our own body, mind, heart, and spirit in the best way possible, and those in our lives and where we want to be through this eclipse season in the best way possible. Again, check out my Pisces full blood moon lunar eclipse reading, which is still active and current until September 20th, and even a little bit after then, if it is in your highest guidance. And I will see you in my next reading. Namaste, friends. Stay well.